Welcome to Be Now for the last, basically, Tuesday show of the year, Tuesday, December 27th, 2022. We're going to say goodbye to 2022 tonight. We're going to talk about a couple of things that went on and what we're looking forward to in 2023. As usual, Fazal Khan is joining me today. He wasn't
Hello,
last
Donald.
week. How's it going?
I'm enjoying the holidays. I'm a little sick. You might be able to tell, but I'm gonna survive.
You're going to survive. Okay, that's good. How do you spend Christmas, by the way?
Home with the family. All three of my kids are home. They're all either in university or graduated, so they're all adults. So it was an adult Christmas in my house. No little kids left.
So you had a couple of your daughters flying in from Vancouver during that snowstorm. That was entertaining, eh?
Yeah, especially because Vancouver had some issues before we did, right? So there's like a window of a day and a half on Thursday and maybe late Wednesday where if they didn't get in, they didn't even leave by that day. If they didn't leave by Wednesday night or early Thursday morning, the flight probably wouldn't have left. But then they had a snowstorm a couple days before, so they can only travel Wednesday and Thursday. But there were hundreds of flights canceled. So my wife was on the phone with Air Canada for half a day and eventually got them on a flight to make it in. So, but there's a lot of kids on campus who, normally residences are closed during Christmas, but I think they had to leave it open because some kids just couldn't get to where they had to be. And I don't know how they survived because all the cafeterias and stuff were closed. So it was a tough time for a lot of people. I think all over North America. You were telling me, you were in Niagara Falls, and Buffalo is still shut down, right?
Yeah, Buffalo is still the I-90 and stuff like that. Downtown Buffalo, I think they're calling in the military, but I think 100 MPs to make sure that people don't drive because they're still trying to plow the roads. It's amazing, eh? It's just like half an hour south of Niagara Falls, New York, and you head down to Buffalo, and it's just like they're shut down like crazy.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people, like I think 27 or 30 people right now that they know of have lost their lives for whatever reason, out in the storm and maybe ran out of gas. But it's tough. And, I don't think the storm, I kept telling my family, it's like, we can't go anywhere, don't plan anything on Friday or Saturday. And I think it wasn't as bad as we thought it would be here in Toronto.
Yeah, I mean, Toronto had some issues. They still have some issues at the international airport. Pearson talking about luggage and this and that. But, my wife mentioned to me, like, at the beginning of the year, do you want to go away at Christmas? And I'm like, there's no way in hell that I am going away on a Christmas. If you're going, you go the first week or two in December or, second or third week in January. But during Christmas, it's insane. It's just like, it's one of the busiest travel days in the year other than the U.S. Thanksgiving is another big one. It's like it's mass chaos. It's like it's insanity.
And if you're old guys like us, Don, we don't have to worry about kids. Why would we travel when that's the only time kids can travel, right?
Yeah.
So let them kind of deal with all that stuff. And vacations are much cheaper outside of those times, anyways, right?
Absolutely. So we're gonna talk about past year. I guess the big one. New council, new output. Got rid of some people that were causing problems. So that's a new outlook. We did an interview with the mayor at Williams, and we released several little segments of it talking about it. Going forward, we covered a lot of the points, so we didn't release the entire video, but we did go through some talking points. He's got an optimistic outlook, obviously, for 2023, as a lot of people do going forward. What are the big things that stood out for you in 2022, Faz? Or one thing?
Well, we kind of fast forwarded to the election, right? And things seem to have gotten back to normal. But for most of the year, it was chaotic on council, and then during the election, we had outside people coming in trying to get Nikki Carr to become mayor, and it kind of, to me, it divided the city. That divided the city, but also, some of the councillors that didn't run again, some of their antics, running to Toronto to complain. I hope we don't see that again. Like, keep stuff in Brampton, because as soon as you go to Toronto, they'll find an angle and we'll look bad regardless of what happens, right?
Yeah, and going forward, I mean, we know a lot. Well, we know most of the councillors, all the councillors, basically, that ran and won, and at least hopefully to keep a sane outlook on what's going on and move the city forward, because there's a lot of things that have to be done. There's a lot of things that are going to be done. I know talking about what's going on in 2023, there's some things going forward, but let's hope for let's get stuff done rather than infighting. You never hear about this stuff in Mississauga. Other than
I think one of the challenges, we've been harping on this for probably 8 years, right? Is there's no media in Brampton, no media that can reach the entire city, and so that's why people seem to have to run to like CP24 and all that. But then we expose our problems to the GTA, and the Toronto media doesn't have time to get into the details about the context, so we all look bad. So
yeah, and we ran into this, when the six basically were revolting, and the Toronto media came out, and it's like the Toronto media had no idea what they were talking about. We did, we knew what was going on, and we were asking them, and then they were asking us, hey, what's the story on this? Behind the scenes, they were asking us, and it's like, yeah, this is going on here, blah 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 blah. So the narrative is easy to fit whatever way you want to go if you have little details, right? And that's perfect, and that's what journalists and newspaper people, and like the Globe, the Sun, the Star, they're all different. You give them one story, they'll give you 3 different slants, right? So that's what they do.
But the big story, I guess, now that I have a chance to think about it, is Gurpreet Dillon losing. I'm glad it happened, but it was way too close, right? He lost by 200 votes. Gurpreet Tour won by 200 votes. That is how hard it is to get rid of an incumbent councillor. Somebody like Gurpreet Singh, with what he was, I'm not even going to say accused of, but with what he did, only lost by 200 votes. What does that say about incumbency?
Well, I think it says a little bit more about incumbency, but it says more about the general melees about voting as well. We only had a 23 or 24% turnout, for the election of eligible voters turnout, which is a pretty sad commentary. So you take that 25% turnout, and it's like, with even a 50%, would you have still lost by, instead of 200 votes, like 400 or 500, right? You got to take a look at that, but it's like, voting is an essential part. And again, we talked about this, about, having something where, you have to vote or you get fined. But I mean, a low turnout like that for, especially whether it be municipal, federal or provincial election, is like, to me, that's not a good thing. I think that's a big story. Still low voter turnout across the country in a lot of elections, or across Ontario in a lot of elections. So it's something I think has to be done, or maybe it's just voter melees, and they look at the candidates out there and say, like, what is the point?
Yep. But I think this coming budget that I guess the council has to work on might be the first budget where we see a tax increase, and how big it is dependent on what council decides they want to do. I just don't see a tax freeze this time around. And if you wanted a tax freeze, you should have advocated for it. If you don't want a tax freeze, you should have elected people who would have told you how much of a tax freeze they were willing to go for. So we're all going to be on the hook for whatever this cost is. And that's why voting matters, right? We're going to talk about the fireworks. If you wanted to shoot fireworks whenever you wanted, well, you should have voted in other councillors, because this council, I think they were all pretty clear during the campaign that they were going to do something about fireworks or personal fireworks, and they did. So
yeah, we were going to remind people today that basically, on New Year's Eve, there's something going down on Garden Square. We'll talk about in a minute, but at the same time, the council did pass a resolution that banning fireworks, being set off in private locations. It was already banned in public locations. You just can't go to a park and set them off. But before, you were allowed to do it in your backyard, but now that is banned. And
you were allowed to do it in your backyard or front yard, but it had to be like the handhelds. Yeah. It couldn't have been the one that's flying over your house, right?
Yeah, you can't do something like the Benson and Hedges, fireworks that they used to have You know?
There was one of my neighbors would actually do it for the whole, well, you wouldn't do it, but we'd all hang around and like I didn't need to leave my house. I saw it over somebody's house and went
Oh,
on for like
absolutely.
5-10 minutes, right?
Yeah. So banning, fireworks is banned for New Year's Eve. So let's see how effective that is. But, you can still buy them. I mean, you can't buy them or sell them in Brampton, but you can certainly cross the border and buy them. There's
Yeah, 5 minutes away from where I live in Mississauga in Streetsville, there's a Kaboom shop, and I'm pretty sure I could have bought fireworks there.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens on New Year's Eve. We'll see how effective or whatever. We'll ask bylaw what how many charges were laid after New Year's.
Oh, we'll just listen. We'll listen at
Yeah. We'll listen. We'll
1 o'clock.
find out. But I'm sure there's going to be fireworks going off. You and I know it.
I
Right?
just don't think it'll be as bad as Diwali, just because it's colder outside, and I think that there's a rain are expected that evening. So, and I don't think too many people are gathering that late in that cold weather. Kids have to start going back to school, not the next day, but the day after that. So, we'll see. We'll see.
But so they're having fireworks, talking about fireworks on New Year's Eve. City of Brampton is putting on their New Year's Eve gala in downtown Brampton. It's being held at Garden Square. I think there's a there's skating at Gage Park. It's free anyway, but there's skating at Gage Park. There's a DJ. I think everything starts at 9, and
I think
go all the way.
Actually, you can go to Gage Park, in the afternoon. There's also a light show on City Hall. It starts, I think, at 5, whenever it starts getting dark. Plus, there's all those restaurants. So I would encourage everybody to call. Look at all. If you go to the city's website for the event, you'll see a list of all the restaurants. See if you can make a reservation before midnight. Come on out at midnight and just enjoy the fireworks.
It's being put on. The fireworks are being held downtown, and they're being sponsored by Tim Hortons, I believe.
Tim Hortons and another organization, but
Okay. So Karen, the
if
kids
you
go
recall,
back.
Don, last year we had a similar gathering. I think there were more rules in place, but we were one of the only municipalities in the GTA to hold live in-person New Year's Eve event. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, because it was COVID. Yeah.
Yeah, and so we were on CB24 just because there's nowhere else for the media to go. So this year, I think every municipality is doing something.
Yeah. So we'll have more details on that. I know we'll be putting something out. Karen's like, kids go back to school on January 9th.
Oh, geez, they got a whole extra week. Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
How do kids get that much time off? Like, geez.
They need to, they're young, Don. Their neurons need to connect before they go back.
Okay. All right. I'll take your word on that one. Okay. So, New Year's Eve, we're talking about what's coming up in 2023. Actually, a big one. We talked about this a couple of shows ago. It was the International Ice Hockey Federation. Women's World Hockey is being held in Brampton. That's pretty big. And it's from April the 5th to the 16th. So that's coming up pretty close. I mean, April, 4 months away, but, it kind of creeps up on you pretty fast.
At the CAA Center, so that's nice. Brampton will be hopefully Brampton is showcased a little bit. And they don't just say it's the CAA Center in Toronto, right? Yeah. That's what the media likes to do. It's like, oh, we're all Toronto.
When it's a good story, it's like a Hawaii Mighty Toronto native wins Juno Award or something like that. It's like, she's from Brampton. What are you talking about? Right? Yeah. We all know the Toronto slant. If there's a shooting in Brampton, there's a shooting in Brampton, right? So
if Canada loses, it'll be in Brampton. If Canada wins, it's in Toronto.
Well, you mentioned the CAA Center, but I don't think all the games are going to be held at the CAA Center. Don't forget, we got Cassie Campbell. They haven't actually. I went on the site. They haven't dedicated where the games are going to be. So there's Cassie Campbell. There's also
those rinks don't have any space for people to watch, though. I don't know how you can have a game like that.
Well, it's I guess it depends if like they're the first of the round robins or something like that. I mean, obviously Canada, United States, those are the two big women's powerhouses. Obviously they're going to want people in the stands, but I guess first round robin, countries that have never won, sort of thing. I mean, maybe they'll pick a smaller venue. I have no idea how it's going to work. When we get the details and the plans, then we'll release them as soon as we can. I don't think they've even started where you can buy tickets, to tell you the truth, at this point in time. So
No, it was just announced, right, a couple of weeks ago.
yeah, so it's that's big. I mean, it's there's a lot of cities that would love that. I mean, right now the
I'm
Canadian.
sure the mayor's going to be all over that. He loves hockey.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. And it's good to show, as you said, it's an opportunity to showcase the city, especially when it comes to sports. That's one thing that the mayor loves to showcase, and the sports, and what we can do, sort of thing, going forward. So that's an
Soccer,
opportunity.
cricket. Now we're going to have hockey. So yeah, it's a great news story for Brampton.
Yeah, so I mean, that's something that we're going to follow up on. Obviously, we'll be keeping our eye on what's going on at City Hall in the coming months. The budget's coming up. We're taking a look at that. There's all sorts of other things going on. So we don't want to spend too much time tonight talking about what happened in the past. We're looking for the future. Any New Year's resolutions, Faz?
Yeah, my kids have been harassing me. They all think I'm not taking care of my health. So I'm going to look after my health. I'm going to lose. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
50 pounds.
50 pounds, eh?
By my birthday, which is in June. 50
Mhm.
pounds. Yeah, I might not look like I have 50 pounds to lose, Don, but I do.
Well, you want to lose like 20 pounds of ugly fat, just cut off your head.
Well, if for some reason I don't get close, that's one option, right? Just so I can win the.
Yeah, it's an opportunity.
I'll keep that in mind. Thanks for the advice, Don.
It's a good way to lose weight,
Yeah.
But anyway, other than that, it's like,
so by this time next in the summer, I'll only be over here. It'll be all this extra space, right? Because I will be like 2/3 of my size.
Karen suggests my resolution is to be nicer to people. No, it's the opposite, Karen.
Be meaner.
Be meaner to people, who deserve the meanness. That's what I'm basically looking at. Oh, hold on.
I keep turning it off, Don. You keep putting it back
No,
up.
I was turning it off myself. It's right now. Faz and I are both. We're playing with the board right now. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll keep an eye on that, and I'm sure there's a whole bunch of different things coming down the pipeline. I know that January 1st to the 23rd, the backyard rink program is back on again. So if you want to build a backyard rink, you can enter the contest. And I think who is it? Cassie Campbell. You get Cassie Campbell, and who's the other one?
Darcy
Tucker will come to the winning rink, and I guess play hockey on the rink, or
and I think all you have to do is send in a photograph, right? There's nothing.
I think it's a photograph. Yeah, I mean, you can go to the city website and check it out, but we'll get more information on that when we get it. I'm sure that the mayor will be able to elaborate. He loves hockey, and this is a program they initiated last year during COVID, which was show us your backyard rink and everything else. At that time, it was Wendell Clark and Gilmore were the ones that two hockey players that would come to your house. So
yeah,
we'll have more on that, but that starts January 1st to the 23rd.
Okay, good. And so also in the coming year, Be Now, our show here, we want to do more, right? So I think Don, I can't remember when we started, but I think we've been doing this the whole year, right? Is that right?
We do have been for more than a year.
Yeah, more than a year, but we did all of this year.
Yeah.
And so we want to amp it up, right? So we're going to make the show a little bit better. An easy way to do it is for me to just get a better camera of myself. So you'll see a better camera for me, but also there's some tools and stuff we have access to. But we're also going to be the website. We're going to be supporting the website. So we want the website to be an events, a Brampton events website. So you see everything that's going on in the city, and that's all it is. There's no like politics on that website. There's no, well, there might be some stories and about some of the events and videos of the events and all that. But we want everybody to be able to submit their events there. If it's a nonprofit event, it'll be free. If it's for profit, there'll be maybe some small little fee.
Yeah, I mean, there was an opportunity, and it's an opportunity for organizations to reach out and say, this is what we're doing. Can you help us promote the event, right?
We get that all the time. We're going to formalize that, right? We're going to show people how to do it. A lot of times we do videos for people and people don't even share it because they don't understand the value in them doing that. They think we will share it, but then they have to share it too, right? Everybody has to share it. So we want to create a platform where everybody in the city is kind of sharing cool stuff, because it's a centralized place and people can learn about it there. It's just all over the place in Brampton. Google is even doing a better job than anybody because you look at events in Brampton, Google will have, well, here's all we think is going on in Brampton. It's some algorithm that's running somewhere.
Yeah, yeah. And that's the whole point. And like you said before, organizations reach out to us all the time. But, one that reached out to me or us, actually, what was it? About the beginning of the month, the music at the Towers, they reached out to us because they watch a show and they said, hey, listen, can you guys, we're doing this. Can you, help us promote the event? So, I showed up, I did a video, did the editing, put it up, and they were thankful for it, which is, they said, thanks, that's great. And that's all we're looking for.
I was invited to another event. I went there and they made me stay for like 3 hours. Normally if you're media, you show up there, you get your 5 minutes and you're gone. As I was leaving, it's like, you're not leaving yet, are you? We got all this stuff coming up. So I decided to stay, and I have so much footage, I can't do anything with it, right? It's harder because when you have so much more footage. So now they've been contacting me saying, hey, can we have the video? It's like, you know how much work that is? So we're trying to formalize that, make it easy for everybody.
Yeah, and the problem is a lot of organizations have no idea. You can put something on your cell phone and post it out there, but that's not effective media. It's not effective social media, and it doesn't garner exactly what you're trying to do. We understand. I went out, I did the video with the music at the Towers. I got what the footage that I needed that told the story. I put it together, and that was it. I don't have to be there for the entire event. You don't have to be there for the entire event. You want your message to be out there effectively and efficiently, and that's what we do. So, it's an opportunity.
The important part is the promotion of your event.
Yeah,
not
absolutely.
Come and cover your event. It's too late to get people out to the event if we're there covering it. You want to get people there. You want us to come beforehand. If we do go, let's say, to your event, it's to get footage for your next event.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, even if the event is there, I mean, you can post it on your page. If you don't have a page, well, that's a problem as well, right? So a lot of organizations, yes, we understand they're nonprofit. Brampton Focus is a nonprofit organization. You wanted to talk about, students as well, Faz, going into 2023.
Yeah, so in the summertime, we did a few videos last summer with some of our students where they promoted. What was the event?
The one, the band Jam or Jam something in downtown Brampton.
Somebody, Karen, help us out. Jambana? I think it was Jambana.
The Jambana, yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, the video got great views. The students love doing it. So we might just hire our students this year, and that's all they're doing. We have teams across the city, and they're going and covering events, but also helping promote events. And we'll make it all free. So if you want your events promoted, let us know way ahead of time, and then in the summer, and then we'll get our students to come in and work on that for you. We oversee everything. We make sure there's a certain level of quality as well.
We oversee everything?
Yeah, I do, Don. I thought you oversee me, and I oversee.
No, them. I oversee them sometimes too, but we haven't been able to do. We've had 2 years of COVID, so the students were basically working a lot off-site and in one-on-one. So it's a situation that now COVID is like, it's not ended, but the restrictions are there that we can actually send and use the technology that we have and use the expertise that we know, right? You can't hold a Zoom call and then do a video on a Zoom call. It's just terrible.
Yeah. So this summer, if you have a high school student or a university student in media, and we pay. This is not volunteer work. We pay through the Canada Summer Jobs Program. So it's.
Oh, we don't pay. The Canada, the government.
Well, no, so we actually pay. The money comes to us, but 100% of that money has to go to them, and we have to manage all that, and we got to apply for it in the next couple of weeks, and then we have to administer it, right? So we have to have payroll. They get that, and a lot of the kids, this is their first payroll, and I take that seriously, right? So normally we would have printed stuff. Nobody does printed payroll anymore. But when we would meet in person, I would actually hand everybody their first payroll, because I remember when I got mine as my summer job. It's like, I think I still have it somewhere, because you remember that one. So, I think we do a really good job, Don, of mentoring students and getting them ready for the real world. A lot of our students have gone on. They're doing amazing things. We don't have to talk about that here, but we've got so much goodwill with these students. We can call them. A lot of them still work with us.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get one to be on our board of directors, and I haven't really pushed him, but I'm sure if I asked him, he'd say yes. So I keep saying the Canada Summer Jobs program is the best federal program out there. Even if the government's changing on the road, there's no reason to get rid of that program. I think every student should have an opportunity to work. Even and I don't think there's enough jobs. We get probably for every job we get 5 applications, and we don't even advertise. So you imagine how many students are out there who don't get that opportunity. And if you add it up, it's between $400 or $4,500 to like $90-something hundred a summer, depending on if it's 2 or 4 months. So if you're first year university students and you're working for 4 months, that'll pay the tuition part of your expenses, right? It won't pay for your housing and all that kind of stuff, but it's a big chunk of your costs. It gives you a little bit of spending money in the summer. So please, if you know like a grade 11 or a grade 12 student or a first year university student, have them send an email. We've got our emails down there saying I'm interested in a job. And as long as they have some kind of communication skills, right? We can't train from zero to where we need them to be. But if if they're on YouTube or they're doing their own podcasts and stuff, that's all we need, right? And then we can. I view all students coming in at that level as equal because they don't know what they need to know, and we can show them what they need to know. They all have the same capacity to learn, to do what we need them to do, right? This is not, we're not sending somebody to the moon here, but the skills that they'll develop here are useful for their entire life.
Yeah, and it's something that no matter what you engage in or what profession you engage in, whether it be you want to be a politician, okay, fine. You want to be a board of directors, or you want to be someone in sales, you still have to have that communication ability. And that's important.
Well, even if you want to be a doctor, my son told me his last interaction with a walk-in doctor he had, it was like horrible, and it's because the bedside manner, this doctor, it was a Sunday night at some 24-hour walk-in clinic, and he came home, it's like devastated with how this doctor treated him. So every profession you have, communications is a key skill. We have a video of Hazel McCallion, when I was interviewing her, saying that exactly, like the number one skill any student needs to have to succeed in life is communication skills.
And that's a learned skill. It's not something that you're born with. It's a learned skill. It's
practice. You got to practice it.
That's why people go to something like Toastmasters to be able to talk in front of people. That's why when I went to school, we had debate teams and we had a public speaking was actually on the course. I don't even think they do that anymore in schools. So
and because of the social media kind of online games and stuff, the young people who have the ability to communicate are set themselves apart, just because the standard has been so pushed down that anybody who has basic communication skills, let alone good communication skills, will definitely stand out.
Anyone who's had to interview anyone for a job knows that the level of communication has dropped significantly over a generation. Just when I was interviewing for jobs for people for assistants and stuff, and this was 20 years ago. I noticed the big drop, and then even now it's like when we interview some students and stuff, it's like, guys, whether that's something that's because they're shy or whatever, or their high school, whatever, but it's effective tool. So as Faz said, if you know anyone or of someone or you are that someone, send an email to Faz and he'll go from there. Right?
And what we look for is just passion. Like if you just send a resume to us and we don't know who you are, chances of you getting hired is like zero. But if you send a resume and it stands out, and then we ask you for an interview, you'll get the job. As long as you are articulate and explain why you want the job and why this job specifically, we will give you the job. We ask for lots of positions for the Canada Summer Jobs Program. We typically get it. And we make sure, like, I don't like saying no to anybody, so we make sure.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, Faz, we're not hiring as many students as we did last year. Last year, you had a lot. So
Right. So we're being a little bit self-serving this year, right? We really want students who can help with the Be Now event process. So, this year we're not really interested in taking kids who have zero skills. That's why we're looking for more grade 11, grade 12, not grade 10. And if it's university, you should be in a media related program for this year anyways, right? Because we really want to get the Be Now event platform off to a great start.
all right, so you know what? We're almost we are at that time. So I guess when is our next show? January
the 3rd.
January 3rd. Okay. I'll put down my calendar. We'll see what's going on. I'm sure we'll have a lot to talk about going forward. So have a great new year, everyone.
Happy
safe.
early new year. Maybe we'll see you out at Garden Square.
Down at Garden Square New Year's Eve. There's a lot of things to go on down in the city. So check it out. You also have the skating rinks open across Brampton. There's a lot of things to do. I know the weather's supposed to warm up by 9 by Friday.
Yeah. I'm going to be driving around the city looking for fireworks and taking some pictures.
Yeah, you're going to bring your own fireworks or what?
No, I'm not done.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for joining us. We'll see you in the new year. Faz, we'll talk soon. And thank you for all those who tuned in and basically gave comments on 2022. Hopefully, it should be a bigger audience in 2023. We want more input from you guys. And the offer still stands for any politician across the Peel region. They want to come on and talk about what's going on or what they expect to go on in the new year. We'd be more than happy to have you.
Okay, done. Happy New Year.
All right, thanks. Have a good one, guys. Happy.